Welcome to the bright side of aging. My name is Ike Engelbaum. I'm a pharmacist and the publisher of the American Senior Gazette newspaper. It has been wisely said, you cannot help getting older, but you can help getting old. It has also been said that age is a matter of the mind. If you don't mind, it doesn't matter. My purpose in doing this show is so that seniors and caregivers can share their ideas and questions on how we can age gracefully and in a vertical position for as long as our good genes will allow. And if we've inherited bad genes, how to outwit them. Our topics range from senior housing options, financial, legal safety, travel, and health issues, interesting senior events in our community, and most of all, tips on how we can put old on hold. My guest, Jim McGuire, who's been with the Area Agency on Aging 1B for 20 years, probably has more information on any of those topics than anyone I know. And I know a lot of people, and it's really been an honor and a pleasure to know Jim. Jim McGuire is the Director of Research Policy Development and Advocacy for Area Agency on Agency 1B. Hello, Mr. McGuire.
Hello, and thank you for the invitation.
And Jim, I know you well enough that I'm not going to say Mr. McGuire again, okay?
Right.
And just so the folks understand, they're here at various agencies, and I'm interested also in conveying as much information as possible. You're identified as Area Agency and Aging 1B, which means there must be a 1A and a 1C. Is that correct?
Yeah. The 1B refers to our 6-county service area, which includes Oakland County. And our role in that is we're a good place for people to start that have questions about aging or aging in place, which is what most seniors like to do, stay in their homes as long as possible. So we're responsible for making sure that there is a broad continuum of resources and programs available to help seniors. So we support everything from home delivered meals to legal aid to in-home care that helps people stay in their home out of a nursing home. And we're a good place to, first place to call for help. We probably get between 60 and 80,000 calls a year from family caregivers, older adults, seeking information on where to turn for help.
Right. Now, Area Agency on Aging 1B is located in Southfield, and the actual area that you cover are which ones?
It's 6 counties are St. Clair, Macomb, Oakland, Livingston, Washtenaw, and Monroe counties, the counties that sort of form the arc around Wayne County.
And then, of course, there's 1A, and that covers which area?
Detroit and the Grosse Points.
And then you've got 1C, which is in the downriver area?
Yes.
Now, what I understand, there used to be 16. Are there still 16 offices around the state?
Exactly, yep.
You know, I've had situations where, believe it or not, I get stuck because I get calls from our readers of the American Senior Gazette thinking I'm smarter than I really am, and I don't want to let them down. So rather than say, I don't know, what I do is generally say, I'll get back to you, or you can call the Area Agency on Aging. Some people say, well, could you call me back? Well, then I, in turn, call the Area Agency on Aging. And I must commend you. Whenever I call, there's usually an upbeat voice that answers that phone. And likewise, depending on the question, you've got quite a few different people in charge of respective areas. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So when it is dealing with housing, you've got someone that oversees the housing. In fact, you know, that's one of the sad parts about our situation today, as upbeat as I want to be, is about the whole aspect of how many seniors suddenly are in that quagmire with all of the mortgage problems and what have you, to have housing. When someone calls about finding a house, you have a list of lower rent type areas, is that correct?
Sure, and really the housing isn't the problem. Usually the problem is affording the housing or affording the type of housing you need, like for example assisted living, which can be very expensive. But we have all the information and all the housing resources and options in our 6-county area, price information, what services they provide, and our job is to share that with families so that we can set them on the track to find the place that's the best suited option for them.
And the experience I've had is that because it's a government agency, our tax dollars have spent the money, you have no hidden agenda trying to recommend anyone in particular. Is that correct?
Yes and no. We're not a government agency. We're a nonprofit agency, but we're selected by the state to perform this function as a public service. And that's what makes us a neutral entity. And we are supported with state, federal, and county tax dollars.
And the way I understand it, you screen anybody that you recommend, or you do give a caveat that, hey, this is who you might want to call, but please check them out thoroughly on your own. Is that correct?
Yes, we only have businesses and nonprofits that we refer to that we know or believe to be legitimate providers. We're very careful about that.
Right, no, because I recall in talking to one of your representatives that there's paperwork involved for anyone that wants to get on the list of recommendations. Is that still true?
Exactly, and the agencies that provide services that we fund have an awful lot of scrutiny, extremely high liability insurance requirements, training requirements. We go out and assess them twice annually to make sure that they're providing the quality service that we expect.
So if someone is interested in getting a hold of the Area Agency on Aging and is not sure which district they're in, you direct them to the appropriate office.
Exactly. We have the phone numbers for all 623 area agencies around the nation, so if you're calling about a loved one in Arizona, we can connect you with our sister organization in their community.
So if you have this situation of long distance caregiving, as they call it, you could actually assist somebody who wants to help some relative or even a friend as well. Is that correct?
Exactly.
You can put them in touch. Well, you know, I've heard nothing but great things about the Area Agency on Aging, and I always admire the enthusiasm your people have. I don't know whether they drink an extra glass of orange juice or something, but they seem to enjoy being there.
Well, and our mission is to help people. You know, one of the things we do is all calls to the agency are answered by a live individual. The people that provide the assistance are trained. They have the national certification, the highest level of qualifications that you can find for people providing information and assistance, so that's important to us.
All right. Well, it's great to have an agency around that, and as you know, we're in this heated discussion now about whatever you want to call it, Obamacares or Obamacare or affordable health care, whatever that means. What are your thoughts as to which side, what's the Area Agency on Aging trying to do to unravel all that stuff?
Well, yeah, it's interesting that Medicare has become a big part of the presidential debate against President Obama and Mr. Romney. And they're making lots of comments about each other's vision for the future of Medicare, most of them negative, as I'm sure you appreciate. And in terms of who's really right or who's on the side of seniors, you know, my assessment is I don't have a position on this one way or the other. Our job is to educate people about the facts, because sometimes facts are missing or only partially provided, so that they can make the best decisions, and that's kind of our role as an advocate and support for the elderly. In terms of what they say, usually they're half right and half wrong. And you know, President Obama is credited with supporting the Affordable Care Act, or what's sometimes called, referred to as some as Obamacare, as his vision for Medicare. President Romney, since he named Representative Paul Ryan as his running mate, Ryan has a very famous plan that he implemented or proposed, two plans actually, one last year and then he updated it this year, that include a vision for significant changes in Medicare. And the issue is which strategy will seniors fare better under, the portions of the Affordable Care Act or that have been improved, or what the vision that Representative Ryan has for the nation. And I guess my overall analysis is there are some protections in each plan for seniors, but then there are also some risks for seniors, and they're relatively equal. A lot of it depends on predicting what's going to happen in the future, and so far that's something that no one on the planet has been able to do very successfully.
I always joke about it. I make a much better historian than I do a prophet, and not to belittle the various candidates that are running for office. Unfortunately, they're really in the same boat that we're in. I am sure way down deep in their hearts they mean the best, but if they're thinking in a wrong direction, the fact that they mean well does not mean necessarily that it's really good for everyone.
And when you look closely at what they propose, it's surprising how similar what they're saying, or what they say in the details of their proposal, even though it doesn't sound like that when you see the sound bites on TV from their speeches.
So the answer is, like Sergeant Friday used to say, just the facts. You will provide the facts.
Yeah.
Well, we certainly look forward to the facts, and we'll definitely have to pursue our conversation again at another time. And Jim McGuire, it's been a delight to have you on the air. If anyone wants to get a hold of the Area Agency on Aging, 1B, what is the website, or what do they check?
We're available online at our website, which is aaa1b.com. And you can call us anytime during business hours, Monday through Friday, at our phone number in Oakland County. It's 248-357-2255.
That's easy enough. It's been a pleasure to have you on. We'll have you. You're so good. We'll have you on again. Right now, we got to take a brief break, and we're going to be back with Ed Ratzenberger. Don't go away.
Prescription drug abuse is a national epidemic. The new way to obtain drugs is through parents' or grandparents' medicine chests. Removing prescriptions from your cabinet is the best way to keep drugs out of the hands of our young people. We've got to work together to protect our teens, our seniors, and our environment. Clean out your medicine cabinet today. Please participate in Operation Medicine Cabinet and drop off your unwanted or expired prescriptions at one of our law enforcement drop-off sites in Oakland County. We can't ignore this situation anymore.
Welcome back, and as promised, Ed Ratzenberger, President of Safe Life, former CEO and Executive Director of the Safety Council of Southeast Michigan, is here with us on our usual visit about safety. And Ed, it's nice to see you again.
Yeah, it's
and
nice
to see you in a semi-vertical position.
Yeah, it's nice to be seen, you know.
Yeah, versus being viewed, is that the line?
Right.
Okay. All right, yeah, it's, I subscribe to that philosophy. And I always joke about the vertical position and what you can do to try to live a quality lifestyle. And yet, as we age, I don't have to tell you, things just don't seem to be as smooth as they used to be. And one of them is the whole aspect of staying in a vertical position. And I thought we'd take some time today about talking about the issue of suddenly becoming somewhat dizzy or falling, or the whole aspect of falling. What is your opinion as to how do we deal with it as we age?
How do we deal? You know, the people that are most susceptible to falling are seniors that stumble or trip a lot, and they may fall within the next year, for that matter. They have weaknesses in the legs. Their medication is, they're taking 4 or 5 medications, and that may cause dizziness. Eyeglasses might be a problem. So there are different kinds of issues that lead to seniors falling. And one thing that they can do is they can take care of their home and change things there, or they can help themselves. And one of the things that they can do is, number one, most experts feel that exercise is a thing that will help seniors avoid the fall. And walking is the main exercise. And The balance exercises are also something else that they can do at home. And the very simple aspects of light weights. Now they feel that seniors could help themselves if they do something with light weights. If you notice that in a lot of weightlifting activities, people just do this all the time. Well, if they go slowly with that weight, whatever they're lifting, it doesn't matter. That increases the benefits of that particular type of weightlifting instead of the other way.
See, that's ironic, because seniors, I don't have to tell you, usually move slower. So actually, in this case, going slower is good.
Them, that's right.
That's the bright side of aging.
And of course, that's right. And any kind of exercise, make sure you talk to the doctor before you do any of it. But there's also chair exercises for people that aren't mobile, and there are devices that they can get that will help them. As if they're riding a bicycle, you can put on the table with pedals on it, and they can use their arms or they can use their legs on the floor. So there are different aspects of it. And another aspect is don't hurry. You know, many seniors, someone wants them to do something, or the phone rings, or somebody's at the door and they want to get there real quick, and they end up falling.
Yeah.
And they might get up from the chair too quick. Many seniors fall because of the fact that they got up too quick. And so if you're getting up from the chair, get up slowly, pause a second, and when you know you got your balance, then move.
Right.
Same way with getting out of bed. You know, just sit up and stand up and pause a second before you move.
You know, indulge me for a minute in your remarks. I remember Bob Hope used to have an anecdote about these two elderly people that are sitting on a park bench, and they talk for a while, and then one of them decides to leave, and he's reaching up, and he finally, after about 4 minutes, gets to a standing position, and the other guy says, "What are you running for?" Everything is relative.
Everything is relative.
Right, right. On a positive note, though, what you brought out is something, in fact, you brought out two great points that we should reiterate, and that is, number one, as you know, I'm a pharmacist, so I can speak from a professional standpoint as well. As you age, many times the medications you were able to take at the right, or at least at the suggested dosages when you were younger, or is on the label, unfortunately is not really appropriate as you age, and all of a sudden you get the side effects that much earlier. So a pharmacist can play a vital role if you're aging and you're beginning to sort of seem to be able to, or start stumbling more so than before. And the other aspect is the importance that you readjust. I joke with you many times about my favorite word on the GPS when you're going the wrong way. And you turn right instead of left according against the directions, and rather than calling you dummy, what comes on? It says recalculating. Okay, so we have to recalculate.
I've heard that word a lot.
Especially whenever I go anywhere, it's always recalculate. Well, likewise, you know, a lot of times the simple concepts of suddenly realizing that you do indeed have to recalculate, and when you get out of bed real quickly as you age and suddenly you feel disorientated, it does not necessarily mean a terrible thing. It just means that you got to recalculate the way you used to get out of bed. So there's a lot to be said for that. And you were talking about doing a lot of things at home, but as far as exercise programs, senior centers in this area, a lot of them are phenomenal.
Oh, they're very good. That's right.
And there's something about group exercise and just the socialization of that fact. You know, you talked about the aging process and all, and one, you know, trite saying, how many times have you heard move it or lose it? think about that. When you are doing everything at home, not getting out and socializing, and you don't really move around, suddenly things, just don't seem to be going as smoothly. So it's very important. And I've seen some really terrific exercise programs available.
Mm-hmm.
You were sharing with me a while back that you enjoy walking in your particular neighborhood. Is that correct?
Well, that's right. And that's a real great exercise. In fact, they have a great park here that we can walk in. Some seniors shouldn't walk in a park because the ground is not, level enough for them. But neighborhood's great to walk. There's a lot of people walking in the neighborhood. There's a mall just 6 miles away that they have a club, and they walk around Great Lakes Mall a lot. And it's a very good exercise. You get to meet new people.
Right.
And I have a friend, though, that doesn't want his wife walking through that mall because she keeps stopping at the stores and spends too much money every time she goes there. So
well,
there are hazards.
Right. Well, there's an old story about this couple. They've been married for like 40 years. And they're holding hands walking through the mall, and a friend of theirs comes by and says, "Wow, isn't that wonderful? It's so romantic that here you guys have been married for 40 years and you're still holding hands, walking. That's so romantic." And the husband says, "Romantic, heck. The only reason I hold her hand is that if I let go, she runs out shopping." So but there's nothing wrong if you don't buy, okay? Shopping is okay.
That's right.
And the whole aspect of the exercise programs, you don't necessarily have to get out there and run beyond your capability. You walk at a moderate pace. Obviously,
That's right.
you don't want to just crawl along. And you were sharing with me something personal. You have a bench that your wife was very devoted to, and your walk that you sort of use that as a guidepost. Is
Well,
that
that's right. It's the farthest way you can walk from the parking lot over to the shore of Lake 16.
Oh, I see.
And over on the shore of Lake 16, some friends of ours purchased a bench in her name. And so it sits there, so I can walk out to the bench and sit and think.
Have a connection. Well,
have a connection and walk back.
Yeah, well, that's great. Well, everybody has got their special little memories, and exercise really can be a good part of it. And the nice thing about some areas around here, we're so fortunate in Michigan. It sounds like a pure Michigan commercial, but we truly are very fortunate in having so many different areas, and no one prevents you from going to another park that's not necessarily right in your immediate area.
Well, that's right.
Yeah, well, I hate to sound like a chauvinist, but my wife has got a whole team. She's very active in biking and a lot of yoga and tennis. She's very much into the whole exercise thing, and she surrounded herself with friends that share in that. And you should hear the complicated plans they make as to where they're going to walk. Let's meet at the 7th tree at such a, and people can do that. It becomes sort of a social event.
That's right. It's a social thing, and if you walk, just pick up the pace a little bit, then that helps your heart. And if you walk really fast, and it really is a good conditioner, and that also helps your heart and so forth.
And from a practical standpoint, you actually can build up your strength so that if you suddenly feel about to fall because you've worked out, as a result you can recoup from suddenly falling, whereas if you really don't do anything about it and you think, I'm just getting older and that's part of it, and just give up on it. The worst thing I can see as a lot of people age is that they literally give up on trying to go that extra step, literally.
Oh, yeah,
and,
right.
I've got a friend of mine who's a doctor, and he calls himself the walking doctor. And he's actually devoted a good part of his medical practice to encouraging seniors to get out and walk. And he forms walking clubs. And because of his position as a physician, he gets transferred to different cities. No matter where he gets transferred, a few days after he's unpacked and sort of gotten used to his new home, guess what he does? Goes out and starts knocking on the doors. Hi, I'm your new neighbor, and I just wondered if you want to meet tomorrow morning at 7:30. I was going to go for a walk, and maybe we can walk together and get to know each other.
Yeah.
Is that a simple approach?
That's great. Yeah. You know, there's one aspect about deciding to walk is to select the right shoes, because if you get something that's really too bulky, then you could end up tripping. So you really need to look at the kinds of shoes that you're wearing when you're doing it.
So shoes are important,
That's
and
right.
Actually it's also important that we finish up because our time has run out. But
Already?
I can't leave without my favorite parting remark, which is, yesterday is history, tomorrow is a mystery, today is a gift, and that's why we call it the present. Please enjoy your present by looking at the bright side of aging.